92% of the B2B SaaS companies fail. What does it take to be not one among them? There are a few death valleys in the journey of any SaaS product. If you know how to avoid them, or even when you stumble, if you take up corrective measures to get you out of those death valleys, you're always on the move. The first one is the product market fit test, the PMF test. Before you scale your product and go crazy about building more features and weighing your product down, you really need to validate the most crucial thing, which is the product market fit. Are their customers willing to pay for what you're building? Are there ICPs that would consider your product as a solution to solve your problems or as a solution that would help them achieve their goals? That's the PMF. That's the most important and the first stage before you try to scale your product or go crazy about adding more features. Then comes the sales process test. Yes, your product is good. There are customers willing to pay for what you're building, but can you sell it? And how efficiently can you sell it? What are your conversion rates? What are your lead to demo rates? Are they indicating healthy numbers for you to consider going into the ICPs that you're focusing on? Is it taking 100 demos to get one customer that is paid customer? Or is it taking 5 demos to get one paid customer? So these conversion metrics kind of helps you validate it. Yes, there are customers willing to pay, which addresses the PMF stage, but how healthy is going to be the sales process? If you break down your inquiries to demo to closure ratio of a paid customer, these metrics will help you understand, do you have a sales process that can help you scale when you press the accelerator? Sustainable growth practices test. After your PMF and validating your sales process, can you deploy your product and the sales team to repeatedly bring in a growth month after month, quarter after quarter? So let's assume you're going after a few of the many ICPs that your product can cater to. While you do that, how does the trend look like? Are you stumbling every given month to even get past what you did the previous month? Or are you comfortably breaching those numbers and kind of keeping a steady momentum towards sky, or a growth momentum, in other words? So that's kind of your sustainable growth test. Then comes the retention test. If you're adding 100 customers, how many of them are you able to retain on the product, and how many of them are more likely to renew? For most of the SaaS companies, the most crucial number from a retention standpoint is NDR, net dollar retention. And in most cases, a customer that continues for the following year ends up paying more than what they paid previous year, because more likely they would add on a few more features and end up paying more than what they previously paid. So it's important that you avoid your churn, or at least you minimize your churn and focus on retention, right? So otherwise, if you continue to add customers on one side and continues to lose them on the other side, you will have a problem to scale your revenues beyond a point. The final one, the repeatability test. In the journey of any SaaS company, you're not ready for all the ICPs from the get-go. You start to focus on solving specific problems for a smaller segment of your time, and then you scale and replicate to other ICPs that you can focus on. So how replicatable it is, or how repeatable is your solution for other ICPs within the same vertical that you're focusing on? So in our case, we focused on 2 of the 12 ICPs, and then when it comes to repeatability, now can we repeat the same into the rest of the ICPs, right? That kind of puts you in a spot where you can evaluate. You're at a certain ARR right now. Unless you focus on repeatability, highly unlikely that you would have a nonlinear growth. So a nonlinear growth comes when you can really master the repeatability. You got it right for few ICPs. Now, how can you repeat it for a few more ICPs? Developing a SaaS product and building a SaaS company is like parenting a child. A few of the disciplinary actions have to be from the very early stage. If you want your child to be a healthy adult, what the child eats from the early stage becomes very important. You cannot expect the child to eat unhealthy food, munch on unhealthy food, and then suddenly become a healthy adult. If any, if the child continues to eat unhealthy in the adulthood, despite taking up healthy habits, it's more of a corrective measure as opposed to having a fabulously healthy life. And the same applies to the SaaS businesses as well. Some of the fundamentals are to be in place right from the get-go, because it's not that it's impossible to correct them at the later stage. It just become too complex to change them and correct them at a later stage. You might as well want to kind of focus on what is right from a very early stage. Some of the fundamentals are sales. It's not just about adding more people, it's about validating the core metrics. Are your current people able to attain their quotas? And if so, measure the lead to demo ratios, demo to closure ratios, your customer acquisition costs, your lifetime value of the customers, your retention rates, and so on. Once you fix these fundamentals, adding more people will just stimulate growth. Unless you fix these fundamentals, you clean with these fundamentals, adding more people will only elevate more problems for you. And then the zombie pipeline. Unless you understand your customer's journey, what they like in you, what they don't like in you, which of the problems you're able to solve for them, which of the problems you're not, it really becomes critical for you to focus on what you can do really well and stay away from things that you possibly cannot solve at the moment. So from a customer expectation standpoint, knowing some of these is crucial for you so you can work on your weaknesses. More importantly, double down on what's working for you, and you can build your moat on what's working for you. And the other thing about, an effective CRM management is not always will you be able to measure your growth momentum based on the collected revenue alone, right? So if you have a good CRM practice, you'll always be able to see what are you adding to your pipeline for the next month, next quarter, and so on, and what is your materialization rate, and how soon could you be able to win some of these deals. And that kind of puts you in the right path. So although you've not converted them yet, but you have a high propensity of conversion based on the commitments. So instead of taking a back seat, you can really double down on what's working for you and accelerate the speed and not wait for things to fall in place. So some of these forecasting will allow you to catch up speed. Last one, and the most important one, staying focused on fewer number of things initially and not doing a lot of things. So it could be the number of ICPs that you can go after. It could be some of those select features that you want to add initially as opposed to, doing everything. That's because just focusing on a few things gives you the clarity and the ability to do it well, as opposed to want to do everything and you probably won't get any of them to the level of excellence. It's like if you want to go to point A or point B, the first step is to decide, do you want to go to point A or point B? You cannot be going to both these destinations at the same time. And if you are not decisive enough to cut out some of these distractions and stay focused on where you want to go, just walking maybe 10,000 steps each day on each of these directions will bring you back to your point of origin. It's not going to go get you anywhere because you're walking a few steps this side and you're walking a few steps the other side. So essentially, you're not going anywhere despite the effort from you. So it's important that you cut off those options that you don't want to do and then focus on what you really want to do. It could be your features, it could be the ICPs that you want to go after, it could be the territories that you want to go after, right? And then build a roadmap as to what are the milestones that you want to achieve, and then focus on scaling some of these at a later date. So, what's your SaaS story? Let me know in the comments.